Hi, Carl here for Proav TV, and today we're taking another look at Canon's 18-80mm t4.4 cine servo lens. And specifically, we're looking at how well it works on each of the major large sensor cameras our customers are actually out there using. So the biggest strength of Canon's EF mount is that it's easy to adapt it to Sony's E-mount or Micro Four Thirds or pretty much any other system out there. And other manufacturers like Panasonic have also started using it natively on their cameras. So by investing in Canon glass, it's quite likely you're going to be able to use it on most cameras out there. So if you often work with different cameras, or you just want to keep your options open for future purchases, Canon glass could be a good choice. The 18-80mm has been out for a good few months now, and its new 70-200 sibling is also nearly here. So I've had the chance to talk to lots of customers now about the lenses and to compare it directly to the competition, namely Sigma's cine zooms, Fujinon's E-mount MK lenses and Sony's 18-110mm. There's definitely some very decent competition out there now for large sensor video zooms. All of those lenses I just mentioned are fantastic. But in pretty much all of the conversations I've had, if the customer often works with different cameras, they lean towards Canon EF mount zooms. Normally the Sigmas for controlled environments, and these Canon cine servos for your run and gun jobs. So let's have a look at how well the 18-80mm works with each of the major cameras out there. First up are the cameras the lens was obviously designed for. Needless to say, it works perfectly with the C300 Mark II, C700 and the C200. You get very fast autofocus performance, full power to the image stabilization, auto iris control and all your servo functions. You can also control the lens from the camera body itself. You can program the joystick rocker on the camera to control the servo rocker, which makes it very nice to do slow creep-ins or to adjust your framing without having to lean forward to the lens. This is especially convenient if you're operating handheld without being up on your shoulder. Overall, this lens is a very nice pairing with any of Canon's cameras. They were, after all, designed alongside each other and it shows. Now, in the Sony world, things are a bit more interesting. So the FS5 and FS7 have a Sony E-mount, so you'll need to use a Metabones EF to E-mount smart adapter. Not the speed booster version, as the 18-80 isn't a full frame lens, just the regular Metabones will do. Now, up until recently, all that the Metabones would really allow you to do is physically mount the lens. But with its latest firmware, it's improved the communication between the camera and the lens hugely. You now get pretty much all of the features of your lens when you're using it with Sony cameras. The Servo-zoom works, and it can even be controlled from the camera's own hand grip, which is very useful indeed. Image stabilization seems to work too with no issues, and I was also very surprised to see that the autofocus works as well. Now, neither the FS5 or the FS7 have that great autofocus, so I probably wouldn't actually recommend using it for most types of work, but it shows the extent that Metabones have managed to get the communication working between the two products. The only feature I found that doesn't actually seem to work fully is auto iris. It does seem to change the iris every now and again, but it's nowhere near what it should be doing. I'd definitely recommend keeping the iris on manual. Overall though, after the Metabones firmware update, the Canon lenses are a great option for Sony shooters, particularly for the FS7, as I think they really lend themselves well to a shoulder mounted setup. So Panasonic's VariCam LT is actually a really nice pairing with the 18-80 and the 70-200 cine servos. They feel very well matched and balanced on the camera, particularly when handheld up on the shoulder. With the strong locking EF mount on the VariCam LT, you don't have to worry about using the servo grip on the lens to support the camera physically and operate handheld in a traditional shoulder mount way. Any camera operators with experience using small sensor shoulder mounted broadcast cameras will be right at home here. The servo works perfectly, as does the image stabilization. You won't, however, get any autofocus or auto iris with this combination. The dual ISO feature on the VariCams also is very useful, because a t4.4 max aperture obviously isn't the fastest out there, so having a camera with clean high ISO performance really does help you out when you're shooting in lower light. So rather than opening up the lens, you swap over to the higher native ISO. So the competition is really heating up now with large sensor zoom lenses for video, and each lens that comes along has its own advantage. The Canon's edge though is definitely this servo grip and its compatibility across the different cameras out there. There isn't really a camera right now which you can't use it on. And the same can only be said for a few of the competition. The Zeiss 21-100 maybe, but that has no servo grip. The Sigmas, but they're also fully manual. If you're looking to invest in some all-purpose zooms designed for large sensor video work, and the thought of an all-manual lens just doesn't appeal, the Canon's 18-80 and the 70-200 cine servos could be a great choice for you. So are you considering these lenses, or maybe you already have one? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.